So I went to the UK Games Expo this year, and as always, it was an absolutely fantastic time. I absolutely recommend that if you are into board gaming, miniature gaming, anything of that, type of nature in the hobby, that you get down there. That get down there and experience it, because it is a amazing event to go to. And every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember going in 2024, and I remember after the event, the complaints all came in that even then, even though they had 3 halls in the NEC, people were saying it was too small, that the alleys to go down with just weren't big enough, which again I agree with. They've certainly solved that problem this year. I don't think anyone will be complaining about the size of them this year, but honestly, this year I honestly felt, if I had not gone with a plan to say I want to see mighty boards because I want to see for the gods, or I want to go and track down, Envy Games because I want to get a copy of, Hercules and the 12 Labors. We'll probably be talking about this in another video at a different time. I might not have even seen. I might not have even seen some of these companies, because this year it was, and it felt like. I mean, I don't know if I'm alone in this, but it really felt like that this year was just too big. And bear in mind, I was there for 3 days. I was there for all 3 days of the expo. By the end of Friday, normally I could have said that, me and, the group of friends that we were with, we could have easily have said, right, we have seen all the tables. We know who is here. We've bought a couple, some stuff that we really wanted to get, especially on the Friday. Now we are, we're ready to go home, and experience at least more of the show on the Saturday and on the Sunday. On Friday, I still felt, by the end of Friday, when we were leaving the NEC, I still felt on the Friday I had barely even managed to scratch the surface this year of the expos, particularly in hall 3, where it was hall 3 and then this hall 3A. It was massive, and the layout really did feel like that if you weren't going off down little side roads or things like that, you would never find some of the companies that you were looking for. So you really this year, you really needed a map to really sort of plan out where you were going to go. And if you really wanted to see a specific company, you really had to look at the map to see where they were. Because I'm not going to lie, I really want to go and see Envy Board. Like I say, they've just brought out Hercules and 12 Labors. They're just doing, or at least they're about to wrap up the Kickstarter they've got for Jason the Argonauts, which I'm probably also going to get on after this, because honestly, I'm absolutely in love with this game at the moment. But more about that later in another video. It really felt that if I was just wandering the expo and I didn't know about Envy boards, I might have never have found them. Generally, I might have never have found Envy boards if I had not known exactly where they were, and they were not on my list of companies I wanted to go see, and do. And I still feel like people tell me oh, did you see this game on this stand? I'm like, no, I completely missed that. But I'm sure I went past that. Might have been several times. And bear in mind, going back to Mighty Boards, I missed their stand. I walked past it several times before I realized that I'd passed it, on that one. But that was probably my own mistake rather than theirs. But really, really difficult, honestly, this year, just because it just felt so big. And don't get me wrong, I think, big is good, but this year I just felt really overwhelmed, really just overwhelmed with how big the show was this year. And a day, particularly this year, was just not enough to see the expo. Because the question a lot of people ask is, how long should you go to the expo for? Should you do a day? Should you do two? Or should you do three? Um, I think now, if that is the size of the expo, and that is going to be the size of the expo going forward, potentially getting even bigger, you need to at least probably do 2 days. Because there is no way you are going to be able to see all the expo in a day unless you have a plan and go, right, I know I want to see this guy, these groups. I want to go see Soul Muppet. I want to go to the Free League. Unless you know and make a plan, you ain't got any hope going forward in the future. This year, like I say, I had a plan, but it was more like, right, I know that, I want to pick this up, so I'm specifically going to target them and make sure I visit them at their stand. So that was one thing. And let me know what you think about that. Do you think I'm right calling it a bit too big on this one? The other thing I think that was, I don't know, maybe it might be a problem for the organizers, but again, you guys can tell me if I feel wrong about this or not. But this year, there really seemed to be a lot of people who, shall we say, were taking the mick. And they had stalls there who, now this isn't even about, suspected AI or anything like that. This was the fact that there were a lot of people there who had stalls and they were selling 3D printed stuff for like 2 to 3 times of what you might just go and buy the STL and then get a friend to print it for you. It really did feel like this year there were a lot of those types of stalls this year, and it felt that seemed to be a lot of the stuff going on. But other than that, I think this year again, fantastic expo again this year. I played some really cool RPGs. I got to play the Lord of the Rings system that I've never played before. I got to play Daggerheart again. Not had a chance to play Daggerheart before. Really, really good system. Really like that as well. Unfortunately, I didn't pick up a copy, but I don't know. Maybe in the future, who knows? But really, really good show as always. Can't wait, of course, to see what they do next year. And I have a feeling that it's going to be even bigger next year. So fun times ahead for that one. But as always, let me know what you think. Did you go? Did you feel that it was too big? Did you go? Particularly if you went for a day, like how much of the expo did you feel that you got chance to saw? Did you feel that you missed out parts of this? Did you go like me? Did you do the show over multiple days? Did you even still feel that you got to see all the show after that? Because I'll tell you what, after 3 days on the Sunday, leaving the NEC on the Sunday, I still felt like I'd barely seen a lot of, like, I'd seen most of the major stuff, but there was like, I felt like, oh, I'd missed like the mini stands, or I did feel like there was a lot of stuff maybe I'd missed out on. But I don't know. That was just me and my experience. But let me know what you thought if you did go to this year, or if you're thinking of going next year. Let me know if you want some tips, maybe from someone who's been a couple of times, and maybe next year I'll do a tip. Although, to be honest, there are a lot of tips videos this year going out there. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.